Have you ever felt so tired during the day that you could fall asleep at any moment, even after a full night's rest? Or maybe you've had strange experiences between waking and sleeping that you just couldn't explain. If that sounds familiar, you might be looking at more than just being tired. You could be facing narcolepsy, a neurological sleep disorder that's often misunderstood, misdiagnosed, or completely overlooked. Today, we're diving deep into the 10 early warning signs of narcolepsy you should never ignore. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look for, but also understand why these signs happen, how they affect your life, and what steps to take next. So, grab a seat, just don't fall asleep on me. And let's get started. Before we jump into the warning signs, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Your support helps spread this awareness and ensures it reaches the people who needs. Let's quickly understand what narcolepsy actually is. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to control sleep-wake cycles. People with narcolepsy don't just feel tired. Their brains literally lose the normal boundaries between sleep and wakefulness. This means they might suddenly fall asleep during the day, experience vivid dream-like hallucinations while awake, or even lose muscle control during strong emotions. It's estimated that 1 in 2,000 people has narcolepsy, but most go undiagnosed for 7 to 15 years after symptoms first appear. That's why recognizing these early signs is so critical. The earlier it's identified, the sooner treatment and lifestyle changes can make a huge difference. Number 1, excessive daytime sleepiness, EDS. Let's start with the most common and often the very first sign, excessive daytime sleepiness, or EDS. Now, we're not talking about the usual tiredness you feel after staying up too late, scrolling on your phone, or pulling an all-nighter. This is something different. It's a persistent, overwhelming urge to sleep, no matter how much rest you've had. People with narcolepsy often describe it as if their body is betraying them. They'll sleep a full 7 to 9 hours, wake up thinking they're rested, and within an hour or two, they're struggling to stay awake again. It's not laziness, it's not lack of discipline, it's the brain misfiring on how it regulates wakefulness. Picture this. You're in the middle of a meeting, talking with a friend, or even sitting behind the wheel at a red light, and your eyelids feel like they weigh 100 pounds. You fight it, but the sleepiness wins. You nod off, often just for seconds or minutes, but it keeps happening again and again. This level of sleepiness isn't normal. And because it develops gradually, many people brush it off for years, thinking they're just not sleeping well enough. But when you're consistently exhausted even after adequate sleep, that's a red flag worth investigating. Start paying attention to patterns. If you're fighting sleep every single day in inappropriate situations, especially if it's been going on for months, it's time to speak to a sleep specialist. Number 2, sudden sleep attacks. Closely related to daytime sleepiness are sudden sleep attacks, and these can be life-changing. Unlike regular tiredness where you can push through, sleep attacks strike without warning. You might be watching TV, typing an email, reading a book, or even standing and talking, and suddenly it's as if someone flipped a switch. Your brain transitions into sleep in seconds, often with no time to react. These naps might last a few minutes or longer, and when the person wakes up, they often feel refreshed, but the relief doesn't last. The overwhelming urge to sleep often comes back just as quickly. Imagine the impact this has on daily life. You could be in class taking notes, cooking dinner, or even crossing the street, and suddenly your body decides it's time to sleep. It's not just inconvenient, it can be dangerous. This unpredictability often leads people to isolate themselves, avoid certain activities, or struggle with work and relationships because they're afraid of nodding off in public. If you or someone you know experiences sudden, uncontrollable sleep episodes, even in active or stimulating situations, it's more than just being tired. It's a classic sign that something deeper, like narcolepsy, may be at play. Number 3, cataplexy, sudden muscle weakness. Next is one of the most fascinating and frightening symptoms of narcolepsy, cataplexy. Cataplexy is a sudden, temporary loss of muscle control, often triggered by strong emotions like laughter, surprise, anger, or even excitement. 1 second, You're laughing at a joke, and the next, your knees buckle, or your head suddenly droops forward. Sometimes your speech slurs or your jaw goes slack. And here's the most striking part. During cataplexy, you're fully conscious and aware. Your mind is awake, but your body isn't responding. It's like being trapped inside yourself for a few seconds or even a couple of minutes. Not everyone with narcolepsy experiences cataplexy, but when they do, it's a huge clue for doctors. In fact, when cataplexy is present, the condition is classified as type 1 narcolepsy. It can range from mild, like your eyelids drooping or your grip weakening, to severe, where you collapse completely and are unable to move until the episode passes. These events are usually brief, but they can be embarrassing and even dangerous if they happen in risky situations. If your muscles give out only during strong emotional reactions, but your mind stays awake, that's not normal fatigue. It's a classic hallmark of narcolepsy. Number 4, sleep paralysis. Now, let's talk about one of the most terrifying symptoms, sleep paralysis. If you've ever woken up and felt like you couldn't move a muscle, even though you were fully awake, you know how scary it is. Sleep paralysis happens when your body's natural sleep paralysis from REM sleep lingers into wakefulness. Here's what's happening. During REM sleep, the stage when most dreaming occurs, your brain shuts down muscle activity so you don't act out your dreams. But in narcolepsy, that paralysis can kick in too early or hang around too long, leaving you awake but frozen. It usually lasts just a few seconds to a couple of minutes, but it feels like forever. And it's often accompanied by intense fear. Many people report feeling like someone is in the room with them or sitting on their chest. That's because hallucinations often occur at the same time. Occasional sleep paralysis can happen to anyone, especially under stress or sleep deprivation. But if it's happening regularly, and especially if it's paired with daytime sleepiness or other symptoms we've discussed, it's worth investigating further. Keep a log of how often this happens. If it's more than once in a while, or if it's becoming more intense, share those details with your doctor. It can help them identify narcolepsy much faster. Number 5, hallucinations at sleep-wake transitions. The 5th major sign is both fascinating and frightening. Hallucinations during sleep-wake transitions. These are called hypnagogic hallucinations when they occur as you're falling asleep, and hypnopompic hallucinations when they happen as you're waking up. They're often incredibly vivid and realistic, so much so that many people believe they're actually happening. You might see someone standing at the foot of your bed, hear voices calling your name, feel like you're floating, or even sense a presence in the room. But none of it is real. These hallucinations happen because your brain is slipping into REM sleep too early, bringing dream activity into moments when you're still awake or half awake. It's another example of how narcolepsy blurs the boundaries between sleep and wakefulness. And here's what's tricky. Many people dismiss these as nightmares, stress, or even signs of something psychological. But in the context of other symptoms, like excessive daytime sleepiness or sleep paralysis, they're actually strong indicators of narcolepsy. If you're regularly experiencing vivid hallucinations as you fall asleep or wake up, and they feel real, it's not just your imagination. It could be your brain showing signs of narcolepsy. Number 6, disrupted nighttime sleep. Here's one of the most misunderstood aspects of narcolepsy. People assume that if you're falling asleep during the day, you must be sleeping great at night. But the truth? Many people with narcolepsy actually have terrible nighttime sleep. They might fall asleep quickly, that part's easy. But staying asleep? That's another story. Frequent awakenings, vivid dreams, restless tossing and turning, or even body movements in the middle of the night are all common. This fragmented sleep means that even after spending 7, 8, or 9 hours in bed, they still wake up feeling exhausted, as if they barely slept at all. And that poor sleep feeds back into the cycle of daytime sleepiness. Think of it like charging your phone overnight. But when you unplug it in the morning, the battery is still at 30%. That's what disrupted nighttime sleep does to someone with narcolepsy. If you're waking up multiple times every night and still dragging through the day, it's not just insomnia. It might be part of a bigger picture. Number 7, automatic behaviors. Now, let's talk about one of the strangest and most overlooked signs: automatic behaviors. This happens when part of the brain slips into sleep mode while the rest of the body keeps moving. Sounds impossible, right? But it's very real. Here's what it looks like. Imagine you're typing an email and suddenly the words turn into complete nonsense. Or you're writing in your notebook and the letters start to trail off into scribbles. Later, you have no memory of doing it at all. This is your brain literally falling asleep mid-task. The conscious part shuts down, but the body keeps going. People might walk, talk, or even continue tasks, but they're essentially on autopilot. Automatic behaviors can be embarrassing, confusing, and even dangerous, especially if they happen during activities like cooking or driving. So if you notice these blank moments when you keep doing something but don't remember it, don't ignore them. They're not just forgetfulness. They could be a big clue. Number 8. Difficulty concentrating and memory issues. Here's another sign that often gets brushed off as stress or aging: brain fog. Because narcolepsy disrupts the brain's sleep-wake cycles, your mind doesn't get the proper rest it needs, especially during REM sleep, which plays a huge role in memory and cognitive function. As a result, people with narcolepsy often struggle with forgetting details from conversations, losing track of tasks, zoning out during meetings or classes, struggling to stay focused on anything for long periods. This isn't about laziness or a lack of motivation. It's the brain fighting an uphill battle without enough restorative sleep. Think of your brain like a smartphone trying to run heavy apps on 5% battery. It's going to lag, freeze, and forget things, not because it's broken, but because it's exhausted. If memory slips, short attention spans, and mental fog are part of your daily life alongside daytime sleepiness, it's worth digging deeper. Number 9. Emotional and mental health changes. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. Narcolepsy doesn't just affect sleep, it affects mental health too. Living with undiagnosed narcolepsy can feel like living in a fog you can't escape. The constant fatigue, disrupted sleep, and unpredictable symptoms wear people down, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's no surprise that anxiety and depression are more common in people with narcolepsy. Mood swings, irritability, and emotional sensitivity are frequent companions. What's even more frustrating is that many people are treated only for mental health issues, while the real underlying cause, the sleep disorder, goes undiagnosed for years. If mood changes, anxiety, or depression seem to appear alongside sleep problems and daytime drowsiness, it's a signal worth investigating, because treating the sleep disorder often improves the mental health side too. Number 10. Symptoms often start in teens or early adulthood. Finally, one of the most important things to know: narcolepsy usually begins young, often between ages 10 and 30. But because the signs build gradually, many people write them off as normal teenage behavior, burnout, or a busy lifestyle. How many times have you heard someone say, "Oh, teenagers just sleep a lot"? While that's true to some extent, excessive sleepiness that interferes with daily life is not normal. Recognizing these early signs, especially in teens or young adults, can make a world of difference. Early diagnosis means better treatment, fewer complications, and a higher quality of life. Narcolepsy is more than just being tired. It's a complex neurological disorder that disrupts daily life, from work and school to relationships and safety. But the earlier you recognize the signs, the sooner you can get the right help. If you or someone you love shows multiple signs from this list, don't wait. Talk to a healthcare professional and ask about a sleep study. Early diagnosis and treatment, including lifestyle changes, scheduled naps, and medication, can transform daily life. Now that you know the 10 early warning signs of narcolepsy, take this knowledge and share it. Someone you know might be silently struggling, unaware that there's a name and help for what they're experiencing. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell, because we'll be exploring more sleep disorders, treatment breakthroughs, and brain health topics in future episodes.